Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hello, I'm Pluto Burns and welcome to another Recommends video. Okay, so a while ago I did the review of my favorite manga ever, Kaoru, and in that video I mentioned that there's a spin-off manga called Kaoru Black Label, which is less pornographic than I may have let on in that video. Because I slammed through it the other night and it's just a lot of tits. Like, okay, yeah, there's people clearly having sex, but apart from a lot more nipples than you're probably used to seeing, it's not actually that pornographic. With that said, is it actually a good story? It's a satisfying moment for the characters, but I wouldn't say it's a very good story. Okay, so the setup on this one is that it's summer break and Nana is trying to study for her exams, and she's struggling with Japanese history. She's got most of the other things down, but that and English are kind of given, or not English, grammar I suppose would be the word. The Japanese equivalent of English. Those are giving her trouble, and she bumps into our friendly neighborhood BDSM store owner, who turns out has like a really high-level degree in Japanese history and literature. I don't remember if it was a master's or a PhD, but she knows her shit. So she offers to take Nana with her as she goes up into the country for some business, and, you know, in her spare time give her some tutoring, and, you know, sounds like a nice thing to do. Meanwhile, Kaoru, completely by chance, bumped into the author of all those porn novels that he gets his BDSM ideas from, has been cribbing notes from. He bumps into the author and fanboys out. And the author's actually a little, like, he's touched because he didn't figure he was popular with anyone in high school. And Kaoru, of course, takes it very seriously. He's not just in it for the porn. He likes them as stories, and the author likes that. So, he offers to take Kaoru with him to his writing retreat that he's going to be up for a couple days. Are you seeing where this is going? Can you predict how this is all going to line up? Yeah, it turns out that the author and the BDSM store owner are a BDSM pair, and she's his, I guess, muse, less muse and more test dummy. Obviously they're very much into the BDSM element of the relationship, but he also will test his, like, writing ideas on her at night and see if it, holds up. So Nana and Kaoru both independently end up at the same place for their summer break, and it's all related to BDSM and other things as well, and that's the setup. Okay, so now where this gets interesting is that, okay, we've had time with BDSM store owner before. She's fun and cheerful, but now we actually get to explore her character a little more, and we also get to meet Sarashina Sensei, the author. And the author guy's a new character, and him and the BDSM store owner have complicated relationship. They've been doing this relationship for 10 years now, ever since his wife died, but they're not really a public couple, as it were. It's all very much just the BDSM, which is a pretty constrained relationship to maintain for 10 years on. And what ends up happening over the course of this trip is that Nana and Kaoru, as sort of the really on-the-nose younger versions of these adults, kind of help them open up a little bit more emotionally to each other. I mean, they've been together for a very long time, so it's not like there's going to be like, I've loved you all this time. No, it's deeper than that, but they needed to say the words, basically. And they've been avoiding doing that for fear that making it official would ruin it. So that's where most of the emotional context is for this story, and it's pretty touching. It's pretty good. Now, there's also a lot of BDSM in this version, and it's pretty extreme. Hanging people from ceilings and stuff, and nipple piercings. So a lot of time is spent on those. As I said, there's a lot of nips in this manga. And I don't know if this necessarily gets to the same level of emotional climax as well as the mainline manga does. Because Nana and Kaoru eventually do have a really intense BDSM session, but it's kind of for its own sake. In one way, it is them realizing that, hey, we don't just need to do this because Nana's having trouble studying. We both like this. we like doing this. This is a thing that we would do regardless of Nana's mental state in regards to studying. And they actually kiss in this. I don't remember if they kissed in the manga. They got a lot farther than that, obviously. But, yeah, they kiss in this, and it's kind of the fanfic version of itself, I guess. It's all very nice and well-drawn, and the emotional beats are still good. It just doesn't feel like it's got the heft that the main manga does, especially in regards to Nana. It's all nice stuff, but it just doesn't seem to carry the emotional heft of the main manga, and it seems to lean a little bit more on the teasing, sexy aspect. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's actually a pretty funny scene where Nana and Kaoru are, they're in a small town in Japan, so there's like a nice festival going on. They go off into the woods to watch the fireworks, and it turns out they're at a primo let's have sex out in the woods spot, and there's like 5 people around them having sex, and their emotional climax to that scene is them holding hands. Okay? Now I did praise the art, but it does have a slight problem with the word bubbles. I'm sure I've got a really good example up over here, but the word bubbles are just everywhere. And the reason the word bubbles are everywhere is because they're trying to simulate the scattered, nervous, mental state of Nana and Kaoru. It's like they're flitting from thought to thought, and they're trying to make that clear with thought bubbles, and I guess it accomplishes that feeling, but that feeling isn't necessarily fun to read. It's actually a little nerve-wracking, and it does clutter up the panels. But any of my complaints and any of the ways that this doesn't necessarily measure up to the original are just kind of pointless because I fucking love Nana and Kaoru, and I will take anything I can get of them. I will take as much as the author wants to give me. I would take them as adults. I want that story. I know that didn't work out so well for Harry Potter fans, but I want it anyway. So yeah, Nana to Kaoru Black Label is an easy recommendation if you love Nana to Kaoru, and it's a terrible recommendation otherwise. Like, if you didn't get into it, if you didn't like it, you didn't get what the point was, this is going to be everything you thought wasn't good, just more so, without any of the really good stuff. And obviously don't start with this, it doesn't set up enough, you need to read the main manga. This is clearly an you've read the rest of its spin-off. I think it takes place sort of in the middle of the timeline, of the actual timeline of the manga. But yes, that's Nana to Kaoru Black Label. It's not as good as the original, but I liked it. Summer's here.